our geopolitics see overshadowing a little bit his economic engagement plans, given that we are also expecting that economic framework to be announced?
Yeah, obviously, geopolitics are at the fore right now, and with the meeting between Biden and new President Yoon in Seoul over the weekend, Russia featured prominently, as did, of course, the issues in North Korea, which is battling an outbreak of COVID, but also been rattling the sabers a bit with Biden in the region. The two had a press conference, and essentially President Yoon called this an inflection point in world history, with democracies and autocracies competing for supremacy. North Korea obviously at the fore as well, and Biden actually didn't dismiss the opportunity or the possibility of at some point meeting with Kim Jong-un, but only if Kim was prepared to come to the table and meet in good faith. Highly, highly unlikely in the next 2 days between now and tomorrow would that kind of meeting happen, especially since Biden now is in Japan, where he will meet with the Prime Minister Kishida today. We're hearing from the Yomiuri Daily that Kishida will inform President Biden of Japan's intention to increase defense spending. Of course, that's a highly controversial subject in Japan, which has a pacifist constitution. Shinzo Abe, of course, obviously had tried to alter that constitution. Kishida looking at the threats regionally and globally and thinking they need to pay more of their way. Japan's percentage of defense spending to GDP is about 1% right now, compared to the goal of about 2% for most NATO nations. So there is room there. And essentially, at the backdrop of all this, I haven't even mentioned China. China's watching very intently as Biden is in the region with two of its biggest allies ahead of that Quad meeting tomorrow, which will feature, of course, Japan, the United States, India, where Mr. Modi will be there, as well as Paul just said. Mr. Albanese going from the domestic frying pan to the international frying pan, obviously, with that Quad meeting tomorrow. China, I have not even mentioned China. China is at the backdrop of all these discussions. And essentially, you mentioned it, Sherry, Wang Yi, the foreign minister, decrying the Biden administration's Indo-Pacific strategy and that IPEF, the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework, which is taking a back seat right now. That is essentially Biden's economic blueprint for the Asia-Pacific, which has gotten muted response even in the United States. Even 50 senators in the U.S. are calling for Taiwan's invitation, which will clearly upset Beijing. Now, Wang Yi says that policy is doomed to fail.